Hello, and welcome to episode 81 of the Stress Knits podcast. My name is Stacy, also known as Stress Knits Yarn on Instagram. And if you want to peek into my personal life, that is Stacyelstone on Instagram. Hi. I never know what to say. It is March 30th or 31st. It's a Saturday. I'm coming to you from a very rainy, gross Metro Detroit. It's been so nice the past few days. We got a little spoiled and it's supposed to snow in a little bit. So yeah, my dog is being crazy and Eliza's sleeping. So for those of you who don't know, I live in Metro Detroit with my husband Doug, my daughter Eliza, our daughter Eliza, and our pug Esther. And Esther is just this little bundle of love who gets a little territorial when I podcast, and she likes to make a lot of noise, and she likes to run around. Don't know what it is. Ever since she grew from being a puppy in 2017, she's just kind of always been like this. It's just a part of the charm, I guess. So I'm sorry for the squeaks, I'm sorry for the pug noises, but I'm not gonna put her away. So just one of those things. Yes. So hi, welcome. If you are new to the podcast, how are you? I hope you're doing great. Thank you so much for subscribing. I don't like to pay attention to the numbers too much, but it really gives me some validation as a person when people subscribe and like videos. It makes me feel like I'm actually doing something that matters instead of just talking to a camera, which I mean I know is what I'm doing, but it just really helps me feel like people enjoy this. So if you haven't already, please subscribe and like the video. It helps me get exposure to the YouTube community so that more people like us can find me. And yeah, it's just very helpful. And if you are a subscriber and you're returning, hi, hello. Even if you're not a subscriber and you're returning, hello, how are you? I'm sorry for my dog. Right, Papa. Yes, so I've been trying to record this all morning. Dog's going crazy. I keep coughing like I'm dying of the plague. And guys, it's just been a morning. So we're gonna try this again. Yeah, so I have coffee and I'm really happy that I have coffee because I don't think I could get through this. So I've gotten a lot of knitting done this past week, and it's mostly because Doug was out of town for a few days. It was a last minute trip again. So he went to Texas to shoot a video for Easter, and yes. So I had a lot of knitting time in the evening because I meal prepped. Esther, please stop. I meal prepped, so I didn't really have to cook, and I just had to warm up my food in the microwave. I made Indian butter chicken, if you're curious. Made in the crock pot. It's delicious. Big fan. I love any kind of Indian and Thai food. It's my favorite, besides Italian. So yes, that was really nice. So it really cut down on time that I needed to like do normal people things, and I just got to hang out with my daughter. My mom came over a few times to help me out. I went over to my in-laws who live across the street, and it was really nice. Yeah, so I did get a lot of knitting time because I didn't not that Doug cuts into my knitting time. I knit around him all of the time. We usually sit on the couch next to each other, put on something mindless. We're really into Last Man on Earth right now. We're almost done, and it's just really funny. And so we're really into that, and he'll work on his computer, and I will knit, and we'll just chat and watch TV, and it's really great. So I get to knit a lot, but it's really nice to like not have any distractions. I binge watched Sex and the City I started it a few weeks ago, but I really just wanted some mindless, trashy TV to watch, and I've never watched all of the episodes. I've seen both of the movies. I've just never watched all of it, and so, I don't know, I felt like it. I miss New York, so I just kind of wanted to watch something set in New York, and I just never watched it, and it was on Amazon Prime, and instead of going through The West Wing or The Newsroom or The Office or Parks and Rec for the millionth time, I decided to watch that. So I always watched that when Eliza went to bed, so that was great. And yeah, so I just got a lot of knitting done. I cast on some stuff, I wound some stuff. I'm really excited to talk to you about it because I don't get to talk to anybody else about it. So I finished my Birds of a Feather. I cast this on for my September cast on for my Year of Andrea, which is it's a knit along of all of Andrea Mowry's patterns once a month for a year. And it's just, I'm doing it with myself. It's not a formal thing. Some people have joined in and started their own Year of Andrea. Yes, so it's really, really cool. It's really cool. I love it because there are a million of her patterns that I want to knit. That's such hyperbole, but I want to knit a lot of her patterns. Yes, so I finally finished this. I cast it on September, like I said, and I didn't think this would be the cast on that would take me the longest to knit. I already knew going in that my Ronin, which is on the needles, I'm not showing it this week because I knit like 3 rows on it. It's not a significant amount of work. So I knew that was going to take a long time because it's a huge oversized sweater. You knit it with like 14 inches of positive ease or something like that. Like it's huge and it's long and there's a giant shawl collar, and no matter what size you're knitting, it's just a lot of knitting. And so I think I'm making the 3rd size, in case you're curious. I like to tell my sizes because I think it helps people who go, oh, I'm kind of built like Stacy, what size did she knit because I like the way it falls. And even though gauge, you still need to gauge. I don't always gauge, but my mind is going in like 10 different directions right now. So even though gauge is important, I think it's really nice to find somebody that has a similar body type to you and to go, okay, if Stacy knit a large, then I'm gonna swatch and do all this stuff and in my, like, think the large because we're a very similar size. I do that all the time. I go through Ravelry pages or like the Ravelry project page for a pattern, and I look for somebody with a similar body type to me, short and curvy, and so I look for that and I see how things hang on them. Like that's, yeah, it's just, I feel like it's the easiest way to really gauge where to go, because sometimes even when I do my measurements, it ends up too big or too small even if I get gauge. So I really like to see what other people do, how it fits on them, and then use that as my springboard and then look at my gauge and my measurements. And it's, since I started doing that, sweaters have fit me better. I wish I would have done that with the Tecumseh, but I tried it on 3-4 days ago, and I think with a fresh block it will look better. I'm really hoping to wear it this fall. We'll see. I definitely think my Tecumseh is more fit for skirts and over dresses, excuse me, than with jeans, because mine is really cropped, especially because I have a chest and that raises things up. So anyway, I don't know, I was talking about the Ronin. But yes, that's why I always tell you my size. I do feel like when people get bigger, into like the bigger sizes, they don't always want to tell you what they're knitting, but honestly guys, it doesn't matter as long as it fits you. So I'm really trying to just let people at ease and say, you know what, I'm knitting this size, and hopefully it helps somebody. I don't know if that made any sense. Anyway, I knit the Birds of a Feather. September cast on for Year of Andrea. Yes. If you're curious about what I've knit in the past for Year of Andrea, I think 2 episodes ago, I did a Year of Andrea recap, and so you can look there and see the projects. I don't think I'm going to talk in depth about it until it's over, which is in July, except for when I cast on new things, and things are a part of it. So, Esther does this thing where if she wants you to throw it, she'll like push it into you. So, Birds of a Feather. Yes, I didn't think this would hold me up as much as it did, but it did. It's a lot of knitting. I have 57 grams left of this, which is my singles base and the Succulents colorway. This is knit out of Stress Knits yarn. This is glowing, and I don't know why it's glowing, but there it is. That's a more accurate representation. It's less bright than this. But yeah, that's not better. Okay, Esther babe. It's like she knows exactly how to annoy me, but she's so cute. Scratch your head. Okay, so yes, I used a skein and slightly less than a half of my main color, and then I used my mohair base, which is Halo. I call it Halo, but it's my mohair silk base, and I used the majority of the skin. There's not much left. I am going to make a swatch, yeah, because I have this in my brain. I kind of want a swatch board of just swatches of my colorways and my yarns and stuff like marled together. I just have this idea in my brain. It's also making me feel like swatching will be worth it because it'll be kind of like art. And I want it for my office. So I'm gonna hold these together and do a swatch for my no frills because I'm not sure. So sorry. Because I'm not sure if I want to use my Halo base or if I want to use my Cloud base. I'm leaning towards the Cloud base because it feels like velvet. And the Cloud base is 74% baby Surrey alpaca and 26% silk, and I love it. Highly recommend. More dyers are using it now, so highly recommend picking it up. I still have some in the shop if you're curious. So yes, knit that. Knit using that. This is my Succulents colorway. I wasn't sure what color I wanted to do my Birds of a Feather in, but once I dyed Succulents, I knew it had to be it. It's just a perfect mint green with deep green speckles, and some hot pink kind of shows up because of how the dye breaks, which I really love. So I love this colorway so much, and it's huge. So this is the border. Also, I did it the correct way, and there's no like boob on this one like there is on my Find Your Fade. Yeah, so here is the border, and it just keeps going. I love it. I can't recommend this pattern enough, but it was a slog the last few sections, so just be prepared. I do feel like it was worth it though, if you're curious. I'm glad to have this done. It's not blocked. I'm not going to block it until right before SSK so that it's not gonna hurt her. She has something she shouldn't have, but I don't really care right now. Yeah, I'm gonna block it before SSK so it's nice and fresh for my little rack of samples. Really excited about that. I just got so much mohair in my mouth. Okay, so there is that. And let's talk about what is on my needles that I've been working on. So last episode I talked about my Oslo hat by Petite Knit, and I thought I was going to rip it out, but instead I'm using it as purse knitting right now. I usually have socks in my purse for knitting, but I have no desire to knit socks, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I cast on a pair of socks in Sweet Sparrow yarns in the Rockford Peaches colorway. It's sitting right over there. And I thought that would motivate me to knit socks because I love Julie's yarn and I love the colorway. I'm just not into socks right now. So I put a hat into my purse. This is the Oslo hat by Petite Knit. It's the smallest size. I'm knitting it for my daughter Eliza, and I feel like I'm breathing really heavy because I can't breathe out of my nose right now, so I'm sorry if that's distracting. I'm so sorry. Yes, so this is Primrose Yarn Company in Dior. So I bought this at Rhinebeck in 2017, and I really just want to use it. So, yeah, so smallest size, you hold your yarn double, so I'm pulling from the inside and the outside of the ball, and it's working really well. Yeah, so what happens, so this is, you flip it up for like a double brim, and like tack it down, which I don't fully understand, but I'll figure it out. Yeah, so then that's a little too high. Yeah, so that's essentially what it'll look like, but this will be tacked down nicely. Drop it. Thank you. I don't know what that is. Okay, good puppy. But yes, so Oslo hat by Petite Knit, highly recommend. I think it's like the perfect hat. I really love it. Doug really wants one. I really want one. So you'll see more of these in our future. There's that. Esther's trying to eat my yarn. Let's not. She doesn't usually do, but she is right now because she's a little special. Okay. So this is Esther, if you don't know. She's the love of my life. She's the best. She just licked my glasses. So, what was I talking about? I just got really distracted. Here. Do you have the bone? There you go. Just clean my glasses, bub. So I'm also knitting on my Vertices Unite shawl by Stephen West. It was something that I really wanted to knit for a long time, and I got the rest of the yarn at what's it called? Sorry, I'm looking for a toy so she stops trying to eat things. I got the rest of the yarn at Vogue Knitting Live in New York this past January, and so I'm really excited. I was inspired by Amy of the Stranded Dye Works, of the Stranded podcast of Stranded Dye Works fame, and yes, she did hers in what she calls grubby pinks, and so I'm also doing mine in grubby pinks. I only put a few rows in on this, but I wanted to show it because I love it. Here it is. Just the wee beginnings of a shawl. Love it. The yarns I'm using right now are, again, Primrose in Dior and Woolberry Fiber Company in Teacup, and this is a limited edition small batch base. I don't know what it is, but it's very lovely. I'm trying not to cough again. So these are the colorways I'm knitting right now, and then I will eventually be adding cat sandwich fibers in Antique Handkerchief and another Primrose in Rosé. These are the two I bought at Vogue Knitting Live, and then this is Fiber Story in Mesa which I bought with my mom bought me at the Ann Arbor Fiber Expo, which was in October. So really great yarn that have nice memories attached to them. Because yeah, because this was a Rhinebeck purchase in 2017. This was just great because I finally got to buy a skein of Woolberry Fiber Company, and I consider Bethany a good friend of mine, and then the two from Vogue Knitting Live, and then the skein my mom bought me in October from the Fiber Expo, and I'm all tangled. Okay, Esther's sitting between my legs, so I'm just trying to not disturb her because she loves being close. Ever since she was a pup. When she was a puppy, she couldn't fall asleep unless she was on one of us, and it was just the best. And so she still has that tendency that if we're sitting on the couch or I'm sitting on the floor or something, she has to be up against us. It's just the sweetest thing. Okay, so the next work in progress is my favorite. It's what I'm obsessed with right now. It is my Comfort Fade cardigan. My Comfort Fade Cardi by Andrea Mowry. It is my March cast on for the Year of Andrea, and I'm obsessed. I just separated for the sleeves today. And so I wanted to knit the sweater since it came out. I just didn't know what in, which I feel like is a big theme for me, is I always know that I want to knit something, but I just never know what I want to use. So I dyed up some yarn support for a really good friend of mine, and it included mini skeins. And if you follow me on Instagram at Stress Knits Yarn, you will have seen it. It's just like 13 or 15 mini skeins in a row, and they all work beautifully together. And not to toot my own horn or anything, but I really love the yarn that I dye, and that's why I sell it. So I saw I Smell Snow, I saw I Smell Snow, Grubby, which is my new pink, which I named after Amy of Stranded, and Prudence. So I saw these three together, and I was like, I think I might have found my Comfort Fade. I think so, but I need one more. And so I was like, you know what'll go well with all of this? Birch. So that's what I did, and I dyed myself. This is on my DK, which is 115 grams of yarn, so it's a heavier DK, 250 yards. I love this base. It's perfect. I love it so much. This is attached to what I'm working on. Okay, so yes, so I've done the first fading sequence. I used color A, which is Birch, color B, which is I Smell Snow, and I'm about to fade in color C, which is Grubby. Yeah, so it's just, I brought a skein over. It's a dirty pink with gray speckles, and I love it. I love it so much. So yes. So here it is. It is a reverse stockinette sweater. So this is the right side. Just the reverse stockinette. I love it. I love it so much. I'm using my Addy Turbos. I'm using a size 7 for the main body, so I went up a needle size. It calls for US 6. I'm using a US 7. Then I will use a US 6 for the ginormous shawl collar. So I'm really excited about this. I think I can crank this out pretty quickly considering I already did all of this. I'm knitting a size extra large. I debated doing a 2XL, but I thought it would be a little too much positive ease for me for how I want this to fit, and the large would have been too small, so extra large was just right. So sorry. I've had this cough since January and it just won't go away. But yeah, I love it. I really, really love this, and I'm really excited to work on it after I'm done recording. So that is my comfort fade. So excited about it. Yes, and I just wanted to pop in a quick reminder that if you see a project in my yarn and you want a kit for it, just email me at stressknitsyarn@gmail.com and the link will be down there. Not link, but the address will be down there, and we can chat. So there's that. I want to talk to you a little bit about upcoming knits because I'm very I just want to cast everything on, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I have cast on-itis a little bit, but I have some stuff on the needles. So right now I have this notebook. This was a gift from the Hey Sister ladies, Tabby and Rachel. I love them very much. So I have an Oslo hat, which I showed you, my Ronin, my Vertices Unite, my classic cuff beanie, which is a pattern by Pearl Soho, and I feel like I always have one on the go. For Christmas, I am planning on giving Doug a stack of just classic beanies, and so I've started those. I've shown that before. It's in Knit Picks yarn in the Bouquet Heather colorway. It's gorgeous, and I think he'll love it. And then my Comfort Fade cardigan. I am gonna frog some stuff. I'm also keeping socks on the needles, but I'm just not talking about that right now because I just have no desire to knit them. Hopefully my sock mojo comes back eventually. We'll see. Yes. So, let's talk about up and coming. So I have this itch to cast on all of the sweaters, which I know isn't the smartest thing right now because I have 2 on the needles and I'm about to have a third. And the third that I want to cast on is the Nordiska by Caitlin Hunter. Daughter's coughing too. And yes, and I love it. But the only thing is I don't know how I feel about color work yet. I knit the Tecumseh and that was fine, but I don't think color work is really my jam wardrobe wise, and so I really love the Nordiska, and I want a specific look for it where I love her sample. That's the pattern picture. I love it. I essentially want one of those, just like the exact yarn. But I think if I do it, I will use Sweet Sparrow yarn because I love Julie and I really want a Sweet Sparrow sweater. But I really want the Nordiska for a shop sample for SSK and future endeavors. And I just don't have the colors that I want to do the color work in. So I've decided to just do the Nordiska without the color work. I'm really excited about it because I love the cropped nature of it. I love the fitted sleeve. I think it's gonna be a really great sweater staple in my wardrobe. I love it. Yes, I'm really excited. So I'm going to knit it out of my Prudence colorway. I dyed up 4 skeins because I think that's how much I'll need, but I only caked up 3 just in case. So this is going to be my Nordiska sweater. It is in my Prudence colorway, which was a colorway for my advent calendar last year. It was like day 10 or something, but I loved it so much and I wanted to name it something that I love. Just Prudence just made sense to me. I don't know why, but so this is going to be my Nordiska. I will cast it on eventually pretty soon, but I would like to make some more headway on my Ronin and my Comfort Fade cardi first. So, but it's in a project bag with its needles all ready to go for when I'm ready. I love that sweater so much. Other things that I really want to knit soon. I want to knit a No Frills by Petite Knit, and I finally figured out my colorway. I think I'm going to knit it in my Perfectly Adequate colorway, and that is just a medium gray, and I think it'll be really nice. I really want to knit a Boxy by Joji Locatelli. I'm looking at my notes. Boxy by Joji Locatelli. I think I'm going to do an original Boxy, fingering weight, and a new colorway that I'm coming out with, which is in the same vein as Grubby. Grubby, which is this guy. Esther Bib. She's trying to get a blanket to wrap around her. I love this dog so much. But it's going to be the same vein as Grubby, but I'm going to use my Betty colorway because this is my Palm Lines colorway, essentially, with speckles on it. And I think I'm going to do the same thing with Betty, which is my blue. And it's essentially like this color. And speckle it with the same gray speckles, and I think that is going to be my Boxy. Esther, babe. Hey, Esther. Esther. Hey. Stop. There you go. Okay, sorry about that. This dog is going to end my life. Hey, let's stop. Let's not do that. So, I have a lot of feelings right now. Alright, and she's not even gonna stay. Okay. I love this dog, but she's a little crazy. So I want to knit those, and then I want to knit a Rose by Andrea Mowry, which is the beautiful oversized cabled faded sweater. I don't know if I want to do it faded or if I want to do it in one color. And if so, what? I have a new gray in mind, but I just don't know if it's going to pan out, so we'll see how that goes. But that's coming down the pike because I love sport weight yarn. I know not everybody does, which kind of bums me out because I love my sport weight base, but it just doesn't sell. So, yeah. We'll see. But I really want to knit a Rose out of that because I love my sport base. And then I talked about the Comfort Fade, which I cast on, and talked about the Nordiska. The Mon Mayonnaise sweater from Lane Magazine. I loved it because Amy, a Stranded Dye Works, knit it. And I just love that it's like a sweatshirt. It's a very wearable pullover. And I don't always love pullovers, but I think it's going to be a very flattering pullover and just cozy for days like today. And so I really wanted to knit that. I was going to have a sample knitter knit it, but it was on back order from my mill, and it finally came, and so I'm just going to knit it, and it's going to be in my Grubby colorway. Yeah, so I'm really excited. It's going to this color. This color. Hi. What did you want to tell me? It's okay. I'm almost done. Yes, so that's all coming down the pike. I'm really excited. And also, I always, hey. Stop. Let's get your ball. Sorry. I keep apologizing. This is just my life. My wonderful friend, Melissa, who is Skinanigans, she came out with her first sweater pattern, which is called, oh, you found your bus, which is called Magpie Tendency, and I love it. So she uses the fiber seed, which is a wonderful yarn, and they have skeins that are like almost 600 yards. So it's a one skein project if you use one of those, but if you use just a regular 100-gram skein of fingering weight yarns, it'd be 2, which is still amazing. So So I'm going to use my favorite base, which is my 80/20 high twist base. I'm going to knit a magpie tendency as well, which I think is going to be on the needle sooner rather than later. I really love it, and again, I really want it as a sample for SSK because Melissa is going to be my booth babe at SSK, and I'm so excited about it. So I just get to hang out with her, so that way Doug doesn't have to be in the booth and also trying to take care of our daughter, because all three of us are going, and I'm really excited about it. SSK, if you don't know, is Super Summer Knit Together, hosted by Leslie and Laura of the Knit Girls. And it's a knitting retreat, but they also have a vendor market at the end, and it's open to the public at a certain time. I think it's like after lunch. Anybody can come in for like a $5 ticket, and I'm going to be vending. So if you're in the Nashville area, I think it's July like 20th-ish, somewhere in that area. It's a Saturday. I will be there, and so will my husband, and so will my daughter, and so will Melissa of Skinanigans. And yeah, so I really want to have her sweater in the booth. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's just a gorgeous pullover, throw-on, t-shirt, cropped thing, and I love it. It's such a gorgeous pattern. I've been obsessed with it since she's been showing it on her podcast, which is the Skinanigans podcast, and highly recommend it. I think you still have a few days left for the coupon code, so head on over to her Instagram and support her because she's wonderful. All the coughing. I'm so sorry. I know it bothers people, but I have a cough and I can't help it. So that's also going to happen, but again, I can't decide on a color. I think it's going to be Bell Jar. I just think it's a perfect summery top color. It's not showing up very well. That's better. So it's a mint. It's like a dirty mint with pops of peach and pink and blue and green and purple. That's a better representation of it. So I think I'm gonna dye myself 2 skeins of it and just cast it on. I'm really excited about it, and the construction's really cool. I'm so excited for it. So that is what I want to knit. Yeah, I'm really excited. I feel like I'm finally getting my knitting mojo back. It's kind of been weird for the last month, which is okay. It comes in waves, and I'm really excited about knitting right now. So, sorry, my mom's texting me. Yes, I'm very excited about it. So yeah, let's jump into some Stress Knits news, and then we'll get going. So, Stress Knits is my yarn company. I mentioned we're vending at SSK, so I'm already starting to kind of get some stuff together for that. Just slowly but surely. I'm not going to start dyeing heavily for it until about end of May, early June. So that's coming. But the big thing that's coming up is the Advent calendar. So I know it's really early, but the Advent calendar takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy, and it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm doing it a little differently this year, so I'm splitting up the signups. So for the main Advent calendar, it is 24 mini skeins that are 20 grams plus a full 100 gram skein of yarn. Now, one of the ways I'm doing it differently this year is you're going to have 2 base options. You're going to have my favorite sock base, which is high twist, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and you will also have the option to do my sparkle base, which is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. I'm really, really excited about it. I'm so excited about it. It's going to help alleviate my anxiety about not knowing what colorways to dye on what bases, and so that's why that's happening. And on top of that, I have 2 other options besides the full advent calendar. So if you don't have the ability to buy a $170 advent calendar, but you might have the ability to buy a $40 7 skein calendar, or I forgot the price. There's also a 12 skein option, but it's in between the two. It's still under $100. It's so I'm babbling. So you have an option for 7 mini skeins, 12 mini skeins, or the full 24 mini skeins plus 100-gram skein of yarn. Yes. I wanted to do it this way to give people more options, for one, and also because I understand that advent calendars are a lot of money, and honestly, they're rightfully expensive. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of packaging. It's a lot of work. So I think they're priced well, but it's not in everybody's budget, and I understand that, and so I really, if you want to get on Advent, you can hopefully do so. I'm having 2 signups for all 3. And so the first signup is this Thursday, which is April 6th, I believe. Oh, I should have written it down. I'm such a doofus, but whatever the first Thursday in April is. No, it's April 4th. It's April 4th, and then June 6th, which is the first Thursday in June. So those are the only times you'll be able to get the full advent calendars. And also, if you want to sign up for these smaller ones, those options will also be available. But because I also understand that it takes time to budget, I'm hoping, I can't promise this, but I'm hoping to have one more smaller set size update for the advent calendar in August, and that will be the last of it. Yes. Now, the big important part to understand is that shipping is more expensive because there is more packaging involved, and also it's a heavier package. It's the equivalent of 6 skeins of yarn, which automatically puts it into priority shipping because it doesn't, it exceeds the weight limit for first class. So it's going to be more expensive for the full set, and then I think it's just going to be like a $5 flat rate for the other calendars. You have to pick the correct shipping. I wasn't a stickler about this last year, and I lost money for it. So I had people that bought advent calendars and only paid $3 shipping. And when I contacted them, they just wouldn't get back to me, and it was really annoying, and it sucked. Because then it came out of my money that I used to pay bills. So don't do that. If you don't pick the correct shipping, so what I'm going to do is for the week, I'm having signups up for a week for this round. And if you don't pick the correct shipping, I'm canceling your order. And you can decide to rebuy it and choose the correct shipping, but if you pick the $5 ship, there are only going to be 2 options. And if you think that you're gonna just pay the least amount of shipping for the full set, it's not how this works. So there will be Advent full US shipping, Advent full international shipping, small Advent US shipping, and small Advent international shipping. Because international shipping is just more expensive. It just is. There's no way around it. So you have to pick the correct shipping. And I'm sorry if that sounds rude, but sorry. I don't know how to explain it because it was a really stressful thing when shipping was like $15 per package. So don't do that. Just don't do it. Again, I know it's a lot, but it just is. Ballpark, I think it's going to be like $10 for shipping for US, somewhere around there. I'm going to price it out and make sure that I'm not asking you for too much. It just is. It's going to be packaged differently this year. Last year I used brown paper bags. It's going to be a little different this year, and I'm really excited about it. Also, all of them are going to be labeled this year. I don't know why I didn't do that. So all of them are going to be labeled because I'm not just going to dye them all in 2 days. So I'm going to take my time. That's why I'm doing it earlier. But yeah, so Advent update is Thursday, April 4th, 2019. It'll just go up probably at like midnight-ish, and it'll be up for a week to 2 weeks, and then stuff will go back in the shop. So there's that. Really hope you do it. I'm really excited this year. It's a really fun project for me to do, so yes, thank you. I think that's it. So I will talk to you next week, and yeah, have a good week, guys. Bye.